This is Andre from Teamwayfinder, and today we're interviewing Reuben Langdon, the voice of James from The Last of Us, Ken from Street Fighter 4, and from the mega popular hack and slash series Devil May Cry.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
All right, it's an honor to have you on the show, Reuben.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so that was Dante from Devil May Cry. In case those who did not recognize that.
All right. So first question, Reuben, how did you get into voice acting?
I actually got into it kind of sort of through Devil May Cry. Um, well, I did some minor roles before that with through a company called Zero Limit at the time. I don't think they're still around, but my good friend Yutaka Maseba was running that, and he had gotten a couple of my friends from Power Rangers, Johnny Young Bosch and Patricia Jolie, and uh, had been giving them some voiceover work. And he was kind of in the mix of the Power Rangers crew because I was working on Power Rangers at the time. Uh, and I told him I was interested in doing VO stuff, so he brought me in and we did some Walla. I don't know if you know what Walla is. I'm sure you do. It's a voice thing, but
Yeah, it's the background
yeah.
there.
So I did some Walla stuff and just some minor stuff, trying, getting the hang of working with lip flaps and that kind of thing. And then it wasn't really until Devil May Cry where I had auditioned for both the voice and the motion capture, but first the motion capture portion, which I landed, and I got to do the mocap for Dante. And then later got called back to do the voiceover audition, and they were looking for voices because of my voiceover experience wasn't next to nothing. There was some concerns, I guess, on the producers and everything if I would be able to handle it. But luckily, I had an awesome director, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who really walked me through the whole process. And Dante would not be around if it wasn't for her. So I owe her a lot for that character and getting me into the business, really, because of that role. Then I was able to kind of put it out there that I am doing voiceover work, and since then I've it's not my main gig. I kind of I wear many hats, do a lot of stunt work and acting for film and television, and then the VO stuff is there as well. So so I'm not as busy as some of the other guys like Todd Habercorn and some of these guys. But no, it's been good, and I love doing it. I have fun every time I get in the booth. It's great.
How was it like, how was the whole experience with Devil May Cry when you recorded for Dante for Devil May Cry 3 and Devil May Cry 4, since you also not just did the voice, you also did the motion capture? Like, how was the whole experience there?
In addition to doing the voice and the motion capture, I actually helped produce the cinematic scenes. So my partner and I, our company, Just Cause, we got the gig from Capcom, and we actually were in charge of casting. So, but obviously working together with Capcom. So, kind of auditioned myself in a way, but having Capcom approve everything and calling in a bunch of others to also audition for the role. So I wore many hats. I wore the producer hat. I wore the um, player hat, performer hat, and it was one of the. To date, it's been one of the best experiences of my life because we got together such an awesome team. Lynx Digitalworks, who did the motion capture out in Japan, they're a subsidiary of the Magica. I don't think they're around anymore, but the guys that were working there were really cool. And then we got Yuji Shimomura to direct the cinematic scenes, who is a good friend of mine, an action directing awesome dude. And it was cool because of the team, really. And working with Capcom at the time was really fun. And yeah, it was just all the right ingredients, right, to make something cool, to make a masterpiece or a gourmet dish.
So from all the different forms of media you've acted in, from commercials or motion capture and voice work, do you have a more preferred form of media you like to act in, or a preferred form that gives you the most fulfilling experience? Or
Yeah. I mean, I love it all. All of it's fun, right? We're getting paid to have fun. Really, it's an amazing position to be in. Super grateful for every gig that comes down my path. But you know, to if I had to pick one, I would say the live action um, TV or film media would probably be the most rewarding because um, as cool as Dante is, and all these other video game characters I get to portray, it's still not my face, and it may be my voice or maybe my motion, my movements, and it's also a free pass to act goofy and be animated, which you don't get in a live action setting usually. So there's a lot of rewards to that, but ultimately, right, I guess where I'm at right now with my career and my goals, um, a live action, like it would be great to have a guest starring role on a mainstream uh, TV show or something.
Did you expect Devil May Cry to blow up and become such a popular and esteemed video game and hack and slash series as it's known today?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, obviously, the fan base is strong, and I had come in during part three, before two had just come out, really, when we were asked to start working on three, and it already one was such a huge hit, and two was just coming out or something that wasn't as good. Sales weren't as good, but um, kind of knew that it was going. It was a huge honor to be in that position of even auditioning for Dante and taking on that role. I knew what a weight that was going to be. So at that time, yeah, I kind of knew it was going to be big, or it kind of already was, and it just got bigger. So so no, yeah, it wasn't a super big surprise, but obviously it's gotten bigger and pretty cool that it has.
Do you have any funny motion capture stories or any funny stories behind the booth?
Behind the, it's, yeah, I guess one I can share with Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She, because it was really my first major role and almost my first time being in the booth. I'd only been in a few times. One of her directing techniques, which I loved, is she gets in the booth with the performer. Um, well, I don't know if she does that with everybody, but she did that with me to really help me through the role and get it to where it needed to be. And there was a point where I was kind of so in my head, like thinking, "Oh, it's got to be like this," as opposed to just free flowing and doing it. That she literally grabbed me and shook me up and said, I suppose uh, if she wanted to, if you could just imagine her slapping me left and right with her hand. She didn't slap me, but she was literally shaking me and just saying, "Get out of your head, Reuben. Get out of your head." It's and that's what happens, as actors, we critique ourselves and we get in our heads, and um, it's our egos that get in the way of the performance, and that it kills a performance. So that was a funny moment doing that. And I have another funny story that's not my story, but I love sharing it. It's some of these voiceover booths can be quite tiny and small depending on where you go, which studio you're in, but like size of a small closet apparently. Johnny Bosch was uh, walking into a booth, and I guess whoever before him had just dropped a fart bomb. Uh, which, if you've ever been in a booth, and if you're, even if you're somewhat just sweating a little bit, it starts getting steamy and smelly really fast. So I could only imagine what a fart bomb would smell like, and it's not something I would want to experience. And I'm glad Johnny was able to experience this for us all, so he can share that story. And
Poor Johnny, huh? Man. So yeah, how is it like playing Ken in the Street Fighter Cross Tekken movie short, since you got to actually not just do the voice of Ken since you do him in the video games, but you actually got to play Ken live action and even do the choreography and everything?
yeah, no, the choreography and the fights in the film, it was all done by the Thousand Pounds action crew, Chris Cohen and James, and all the folks over there, Haley Lee, and those guys really did an awesome job. And when they called up and made the offer, I was like, dude, you don't even have to ask, just tell me when and where. Um, and getting back to what you were saying about what's the most rewarding kind of job, I would say that kind of job. If I could portray an animated character, which can up until then, and maybe a couple horrible Street Fighter movies here and there, Ken shows up, but live action movies. But to play an animated character in real life, and that that is the ultimate dream right there. So
Because I can imagine, since you play him in the video game and now you get to actually be him in live action and do all his fighting moves, I can't even imagine how fulfilling that kind of experience can be.
it was great. It was awesome, and it turned out so well. And I'm so proud to to be a part of it, and the crew that put it together was really awesome.
Oh yeah, you make a really good live action Ken, not just a voiceover too. It was astounding. Great job there.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
So, did you have any aspiring actors or performers that you looked up to while you were becoming, a professional actor yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, huge influence even to this date. Bruce Lee has always been a hero, and I think he's been a hero for many because he's a martial artist, he's an actor, um, he's not just a martial artist. He's like the most badass martial artist, the most badass
Oh
actor
yeah. Oh yes.
of them all, and he has this as a martial artist, he has this fluency or philosophy, which is I still you see Bruce Lee quotes shared on Facebook all the time, and that philosophy really stuck with me as when I was young. Kind of reading a lot of his philosophy he got from the Taoist Lao Tzu and Krishnamurti and Buddhism, and a lot of Eastern philosophies and martial art philosophies that help me get through life on a daily in a daily way, I guess. So he's been huge. Jackie Chan, just because he's an action god,
Yes.
and Sammo Hung, because not only because of his action ability, but I actually got to know him personally, and he became a really close, good mentor of mine over the years. And he shared time with Bruce Lee, and sharing his stories and his wisdom on action and martial arts and philosophy, and his philosophies. He incorporates a lot of those traditional Bruce Lee philosophies in his work and what he does, and as well as cinematography and shooting. And those are probably like the Hong Kong cats really are some of the key ones. um I guess they still are.
Oh yeah,
Thinking about it, like, oh, anybody else? Jet Li is awesome too. But I really had, like every probably teenager my age back in the day, had a man crush on Bruce Lee.
of course. So, do you have any tips for any aspiring voice actors?
Um, yeah, I mean, if you liked, if that's what you're loving, all I can say is don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just pursue what you love and dream of doing, uh, and go after it 100%. And because that's when you really know if that's really what you want to do. Because if you really commit 100% to whatever it is you want to do, um, then you'll know if you want to do it or not. Because usually it's not as easy as it may seem or may appear. So anything in life, whether it's voice acting or anything, try it, and don't just half try it. Try it 100%, and then see if it resonates with you, if it's something that you want to do. And then if it is, just keep at it. Don't get discouraged. You may have to do a lot of practice and training, and even not get paid for doing it for a while. That's a lot of us have been there. You do, to get recognition and to build up a name for yourself. A lot of times you have to go the extra mile and do stuff and not necessarily get paid for it. Um, but and that's not every case, and hopefully everybody does get paid for their work, and that's the way it should be. But just saying, that's sometimes you have to go the extra mile. So just keeping that in mind, just go the extra mile, do it 100%, and don't give up, and don't feel bad if you want to give up. If it's something that you're like, what, this is not what I'm cracked up to be. This is not what I thought how it was all gonna work out. That's totally fine. Move on to something else. Don't kill yourself over something that you may not really love at the end of the day too. And I think that's something that's important, something people leave out, that it's okay to change your mind and do something else.
Exactly.
I've changed my mind 20 times in the past 20 years.
So, yeah, it was an honor to have you on the show, Ruben. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, just let's leave it on that note. What I just said there, I think it's
Okay.
probably a good place to end it.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It was an honor meeting you.
All right, thanks, man.